When you just focus on making a great game, you will be rewarded if you create something great. Case in point, you got Shift Up over there gifting all of their Stellar Blade employees $3,400 and a PS5 Pro at the beginning of the year. Now, I don't know why you'd burden them with such garbage like a PS5 Pro, but the $3,400, well, that's a pretty good payoff. I don't know how many people worked specifically on the project, but the fact that their hard work is being noted is a wonderful thing to see, especially in 2024 with what was the announcement at the end of the year? What was the final total? Something like 15,000 people laid off. I'm not going to shed a tear for any of them because there's a lot of redundancies and a bunch of, justified closures. But to see success stories out there, I mean, it harkens back to the good old days, and as Grums points out, Stellar Blade bonuses. They are very good tools to align teams and the game's success instead of politics. OG Blizzard, they used to do a 10% salary bonus during December, which back in the cut, that would have been significant. OG Blizzard used to have profit sharing almost equal to your annual salary in many cases. And id Software also had profit sharing. Blizzard doesn't really do the same anymore because, Blizzard really doesn't put out anything that appeals to audiences anymore, but also they're owned by a parent company now, not just Activision, which was, probably did away with a bunch of the different bonuses because if you want to talk about greedy, but ultimately now with their new owner, their new masters, Microsoft, things they are a changing. And as we look forward to 2025, one of the first showcases for Xbox is coming up, and well, there's a bunch of different questions for the brand moving into this year. Exactly. You got this new campaign. This is an Xbox. It's like, are you guys still going to be making consoles? What's your focus with Game Pass? Are you guys doing exclusives anymore? Like, what's with that window? Like, how many more studios are you going to close down? Are you going to release anything that you've announced? And the stuff that you have announced and on schedule doesn't look very good. So, what can we look forward to in the second half of the year? Is there any reason to be excited? Because 2024 was light on releases, to say the least, and what you have earmarked for the first half of 2025 doesn't look all that promising. You've got some IPs and ideas floating in the ether. It's like, can we cash in any of those chips? What are we doing? Xbox 2025 predictions and overview. Microsoft's most promising games lineup in history meets a platform under duress. Yeah, exactly, because there's some stuff that, Xbox fans, Microsoft fans, gaming fans in general could be looking forward to. I mean, at one point in time, you're telling me that they're releasing a Gears of War prequel. I'm down for that. Seeing a follow-up to Perfect Dark, that could be awesome. But seeing what Xbox has done to Halo, seeing who they've handed Perfect Dark off to, doesn't really instill me with any kind of hope. More content than ever for Xbox and more content than ever outside of Xbox. Yeah, because they're also, they announced, I think that was at Summer Games Fest, right? A brand new, more powerful series, whatever the hell they're going to call it. And for what games exactly? Who knows? There's also rumors of them working on a handheld to compete with the Steam Deck and whatever we're going to see out of the Switch and the Switch 2. Divided attention, Xbox is becoming a jack of all trades, but it will also end up as a master of none. Yeah, because they legitimately have not recovered since the Xbox One announcement in 2013. That killed their base stone dead. There's no reason that it needed to stay that way. It's just their follow-up on the Xbox One. Like, really, honestly, you take a look at that games catalog, their exclusive games catalog. Is there anything that really stands out? Killer Instinct was fun, but it eventually came... Well, no, I thought it had day and date release on PC as well. Or at least now you can still play that. Gears 4 and 5 ain't a shade on the first three, and you had one Halo game come out on the platform, and it is the worst one. I know because I got the Halo Guardians Xbox One. I think I had plugged in and I played a couple of missions on it and it was just AIDS. The best thing to come out of the Xbox One was the Elite controller. I'll go ahead and say that. But all in all, coming up at the tail end of next week, there's, the big developer direct, the first one of the year, where they're going to give you more information on, Doom the Dark Ages. Okay, that looks good. Okay, it could be good. It's still coming out and id has maintained a high quality bar for their releases. So yeah, that could be quite good. But then you've also got South of Midnight and Compulsion Games. Sandfall Interactive. No idea. But then also an announcement on a fourth game, Windows Central, on Xbox Developer Direct. There's also a mysterious fourth game, and I won't spoil what it is, but our sources indicate that it's a new entry in a legendary Japanese IP. you closed down your only Japanese-based studio last year in Tango Gameworks, and then eventually sold it off to a Korean studio. So, legendary Japanese IP from Microsoft and has decades of history and should make a lot of fans happy. I have no idea what you're talking about. A new entry in a legendary Japanese IP for decades of history should make a lot of fans I have no idea. Yeah, and just looking through the comments, it's like, okay, yeah, they do have Ninja Theory, so yeah, a Ninja Gaiden. Now, it could be something, I guess. But yeah, that one guy down there is like, yeah, wanted Ninja Gaiden. We'll get a Mahjong Emperor 12. Yeah, I'm thinking it's like, oh, finally, a long-anticipated update to Peggle. As long as this is what the brain trust over at Xbox looks like, I mean, Microsoft Pride, together we can. They were recently on Twitch with, I have no idea how to describe any of the people that are on there, okay? And especially homie right here. Like, what are we doing? This is the official Xbox account. 164 people are checking this stuff out. It's not a healthy brand, okay? This is a brand at one point in time that had several characters that could rival Nintendo for face of video gaming. Master Chief in the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, was as popular as Mario. I don't want to let that be understated, but no, they ended up bowing to the mob, signing up for all of the different virtue signaling programs that they possibly could, and now they're in the state where they are, where we don't even know in a few years' time if they're going to be making consoles, if they're just simply going to be going and trying to become the Netflix of gaming. But meanwhile, you have smaller studios and smaller developers reinforce their dedication to simply focusing on game development, okay? Staying out of politically divisive issues like the Lords of the Fallen developer promises. They will not be integrating any social or political agendas into their games, which is fantastic. Now, if they could just make a competent game, that would be fantastic, because I've seen some gameplay of Lords of the Fallen. That just came out last year, right? Or at least the remake or the relaunch, the reboot or something. Like, it looked promising. Okay, there was a little bit of it that looked pretty good, but then after that, it's like, guys, I'm glad that you're not being ideological. It's just, could you focus more on game development? Because that would work. In recognition of the fact that players do not appreciate such overtly and preachy messaging in their video games, Lords of the Fallen series developer CI Games has promised that they will not be integrating any social or political agendas into any of their future titles. The Polish-based developer. Oh, we're going to be talking more about another Polish studio here before the end of the week, okay? Who, in addition to the two of them actually, spoilers, fantasy action RPG duology, are perhaps best known for Sniper Ghost Warrior series. Isn't there another Sniper game that's coming out? Anyways, offered their thoughts on the topic of modern audience writing while speaking to attendees at their recent investors chat, hosted by CEO Marek Tyminski, SVP developer Tom O'Connor, and Global Marketing Director Ryan Hill on January 8th. The chat essentially served as an open Q&A session in which investors could press the studio on the current state of their operations. Per a recap of the chat provided by Polish market news outlet, that one, at one point during the chat, one such investor took it upon himself to ask a particularly burning question, bluntly asking the trio of CI Games representatives, "What is your stance on DI in gaming?" Fielding the question on the company's behalf, Hill informed a curious guest, "We remain committed to producing player-first video games that prioritize an excellent user experience with compelling thematics and characters created specifically for core and adjacent audiences." Great idea and great vision. Hopefully third time's a charm. Some video games have recently taken the opportunity to embed social or political agendas with their experiences. It is clear that many players do not appreciate this, and as a result, we have seen a number of high-profile releases underperforming commercially during the last year alone. Our games will always be developed by maximizing player enjoyment and commercial success, and as such, we will not be integrating any social or political agendas into these experiences going forward, having observed the high risk this can present. Yeah, and then also making mention of the underperforming commercially in the last year. Shout out Dragon Age the Veilguard. And shout out the upcoming Avowed. Oh boy, that's going to be fun. Providing some additional, albeit direct insight into the company's decision to reject socio-political grandstanding in favor of providing the players with quality video game experiences. Now, when later asked the same investor as to what the company believed was the most important thing when planning a marketing strategy, Hill explained the most important aspect of a marketing campaign is knowing and understanding your target audience, and as part of this, who makes up your primary, secondary, and subsequent cohorts. Knowing your audience and how best to connect and ultimately convert them to a sale is the best way to run a highly efficient and cost-effective marketing campaign. I couldn't agree more. Sounds very cold and calculated, but at the end of the day, they're running a business. They're offering a good and or a service. If you like what they're selling, you pick it up. That's the way that we used to engage with these things. It wasn't companies trying to make lifestyle brands. It wasn't them trying to appeal to all of your whims. If you're thirsty, you go to the store, you buy something to drink. You're hungry, you pick up a snack. It's as simple as that. I don't need to have my own personal biases affirmed by big mega corporation. I'm good, bro. I'm not that thin-skinned narcissistic where I need to look around and see my personal identity affirmed at all times. I just don't want to be attacked. I don't want to be demeaned. And I just want to have the option to buy a good product and support a worthwhile studio. Is that too much to ask? By fully understanding our audience, we are able to ensure marketing materials are specifically designed to connect with them at an emotional level, and we can also ensure we are promoting these marketing materials in the correct places. Exactly. Because yeah, you're making games like the Sniper series, you're making games like Lords of the Fallen. You specifically know who's going to be playing those games with a general level of specificity. And outside of the games journos that have to play these types of games through gritted teeth because, oh, where's the female representation? Why is the game so hard? They need an easy mode. They might be playing your game, but they aren't your entire target audience. Far be it. And instead, reaffirming their dedication to just simply focusing on games. You have Marek Tymiński coming out and quote tweeting Pirate Nation, of all things, when he ends up sharing around the screen cap of the recap. Exactly, no, we will not ever integrate DEI elements in their games. It's great to see. You hope the trend continues and that you hope this isn't just simply a shuffling of policies in order to continue to pollute the minds of gamers and is instead a rededication to playing and creating great games. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.